Welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of May 1st, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Multi-Service Center in room 520, though it used to be 320, 48 Marion Road, Wareham. The Wareham Conservation Commission will hold a meeting under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6, and any other applicable laws. All hearings of the Wareham Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All matters listed may involve a decision and possible vote. I've called the meeting to order. Now roll call, please. I'll start. You.
Donna Colbert.
Jessica Parr.
Paula Jean O'Neill.
Autumn Wood.
Carol Melanson.
Sandy Slavin.
Carry on my wayward son, I guess.
I know.
In the background. Anyway, Michael Mercier.
Joseph Still.
Thank you. If you would, its public hearing starts at 6, so we're going to go now. There has been a change in some of our meeting activity, so you'll hear me making a motion to open each hearing as it is read. So start with the first one, please.
Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held in room 520, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass., on Wednesday, May 1st, 2024 at 6 p.m. This is a request for a determination of applicability for Pinehurst Beach Association, P.O. Box 256, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to remove and replace a 4-by-6-foot deck egress, platform, and 6 steps. The structure will be attached to the existing slab and structure. There will be no earthwork required. Debris will be removed from the site after the job. All work will be in compliance with CMR 720 Mass State Building Code. Map 46, Lot 1000, 114 Pinehurst Drive, Wareham, Mass.
Thank you. I need a motion to open the hearing for 114 Pinehurst Drive.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're 600. All right, we're open. Is there anybody here to represent this project? Please come forward and identify yourself.
Madam Chair, point of order. This was amended prior to the hearing to add sand to the top lot as well.
Thank you. The agenda says additional add sand to the property within the seawall and fence area. So that was on the amended agenda. Okay, thank you.
My name is David Moore, one of the trustees of the PBIA.
Kevin Murphy, trustee, PBIA.
All right, tell us what you'd like to do.
We need to remove the badly damaged second egress from the back of the community house, which sits on a cement slab.
Yeah, and held up by a 2x8, yes.
One end is, yes. And we have received an email from our insurance agent last week that basically said, you really shouldn't have people in the building until that's taken care of. So that kind of put the wheels on this more quickly than we were. And then the sand at the same time, because of the other sand project, which has been approved already, was to just do this all at once.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
I'm going to ask the questions around. I'm going to go with, let me see, Jessica.
No questions.
Michael.
No questions, thank you.
Carol.
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean.
No questions, thank you.
I did Autumn, didn't I?
No,
No,
skip.
Autumn.
No questions, thank you.
Denise. No questions. Donna.
No questions.
Joe.
None for me.
I have none. Josh, I did say Paula Jean, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Josh, your comments, please.
Do you know how much sand you're proposing to add to the top lot?
20 cubic yards.
Thank you, 20 cubic yards. With that being said, what is the square footage of the area that it's being distributed on? Do you know?
What is, how many square feet?
Yeah, of the area that it's being placed on.
Did you say 30 by 20?
Oh, you got to go the whole length of the wall, which is 100, because it's all washed out in front of the
Right,
building
in front of the
as well.
clubhouse, it's washed out
So it's
also.
100 feet
Yeah.
long by probably 30 feet, but not all of that.
Right,
The community house sits on part of that, so call it by 50 by 30.
Right, because
So
you have the
1,500
clubhouse
square.
structure there, and there's, I'll call it a concrete footing from where the stairs are that almost touches the wall at one point.
Right, but, so in
Right.
front of that is washed out, and then I guess you end up adding and subtracting, but, so if you say 50% of the wall is exposed, 50 feet of the wall is the side yard, and that 30 feet deep, you have plus or minus a little bit, so roughly 1,500 square feet.
Okay, because I believe part of the lot does have grass growing on it. And is that more in front of the clubhouse?
It's,
Is it lawn?
no, it's,
No.
there's weeds, we weed whack on the right-hand side of the front walkway. There's no grass.
That's up by the fence close to the road.
Correct.
Yes.
Those are my only questions.
All you set?
Yeah,
Is there anybody in the audience or online that would like to comment on this project? Please identify yourselves. I'm seeing none.
Motion to close the hearing?
Second.
I have a motion by Carol to close the hearing. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 600. The hearing is closed. Your recommendation, Josh?
-2 determination.
Second.
I have that. Make the motion.
The motion, so moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 600. We're done. See Josh for the paperwork before you dump the sand.
We'll do
Thank you.
that. Thank you.
Next one, please.
This
52 maybe?
is
Yeah.
a request for
21 days.
determination of applicability for Great Lighthouse Fellowship, P.O. Box
Wait a minute,
1.
please.
Okay. Yeah, I can work on it.
I'm sorry, Carol, you'll like to start again?
Sure, give me a minute.
Not quite yet. We're still in our meeting, thank you.
This is a request for determination of applicability for Great Lighthouse Fellowship at P.O. Box 1, Wareham, Mass. 02571. The applicant seeks to construct a 4,566 square foot modular building to be used as a church for religious use. In addition to construction of the building, the plan includes proposed septic system, gravel parking lot, drainage facilities, and landscaping. Map 133, Lot 1000/B1 and 1000/C, 2703 and 2703R, Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Mass.
Yes, I'd like to have a motion to open the hearing on 2703 and 2703R Cranberry Highway.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. 600. Is there anybody here representing the Grace Lighthouse Fellowship?
Looks like I'm the only one if you've got any questions.
You have someone, we also have someone online, so please come up and identify yourself. And Josh, who's on?
I believe John asked him to be a participant.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Jack
identify
Savas-
yourself, please.
Jack Savastano, one of the members of the church and the maintenance crew.
Can you spell your last name for our minute taker?
Savastano.
Thank you. And who's online?
Hello, my name is Demir Van Orbach from Ty and Bond, representing Grace Lighthouse Fellowship.
All right. Who would like to describe the project?
I can go ahead.
Okay.
So the existing site has two paved areas, a gravel parking lot, a playground, a shared pergola, and a tent which is used as an outdoor congregational area during summer seasons. And the current site does not have any kind of drainage nor septic structures installed. So our client is proposing to construct a modular building that will be set on piles, as well as walkways, a new gravel parking lot that will accommodate 74 spaces, including 4 ADA spaces, site lighting, trash enclosures, a new water line to the building, a drainage system that will consist of vegetated swales and subsurface basins that will treat the parking lot runoff, as well as a dry well for roof runoff. The proposed drainage system is currently under review by the town for compliance with state and local stormwater regulations, and we're also proposing a new septic system that will be Title V compliant. The project lies outside of any flood zones, wetlands, rivers, or NHESP protected areas. And the project required a special permit because we went over the 10 parking lot threshold for this project, and we will need a negative determination from the Conservation Commission before being granted that special permit. So I'm happy to address any of the questions you might have.
Thank you. Denise, questions?
The one thing that I understand, that even with an RDA, we're supposed to have stakes put in as to where everything is going to be, because you get out to the site, we have absolutely no clue where the parking lot's going to be, where you're putting the tent. Nothing was staked out. That being said, I don't think we actually have any jurisdiction or coverage in this area, so it's not an issue for this case, but please be aware that RDAs do require staking of.
I did reach out to the conservation agent, and I asked about the staking, and I think we agreed that we didn't need to do staking for this project since everything was outside of the jurisdiction.
Is this going to be -6?
One.
1. So all we're trying to say is to the planning board, there's no water involved. Okay, so, Joe?
There's no questions for me.
Mike?
I just, if there's going to be I guess if there's going to be a gravel parking lot, my only question is it going to be a impervious or pervious parking lot? That's all.
We modeled it as impervious for the stormwater. So the parking lot is sloped towards vegetated swales on all sides that will trickle down into our subsurface basin.
All right, thank you, sir.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean?
It's more of a comment that in what I read, there was a discussion of some shrub planting and some lawn seeding, and I was just hoping that you would be considering native shrubs for your plantings and perhaps native grasses that would have lower water and nitrogen requirements.
We are providing native grasses and plants for the area, especially around the drainage.
That's great.
Jessica?
Thank you.
No questions.
Donna?
No questions.
I tried 3 times to print out a page of this plan, and it just froze my printer constantly. I read it online, and thank you for the dry wells and roof runoff. Josh, your recommendation? Comments.
I guess my comments would be that the planning board in its rules and regulations states that they need a determination from the Conservation Commission for any special permits. That's why they're here before you today.
Yes, so we're going to confirm that they're out of all wetlands. Is there anybody who would like to comment on this project? Your recommendation is a -1?
Correct.
I motion to close the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the hearing is closed.
I motion to approve with the -1 determination.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. You're done. You're off
Thank
to
you so much
planning.
for your time.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Next one, please.
This is a request for determination of applicability for Russell J. Motto, P.O. Box 150, Buzzards Bay, Mass. 02571. Post facto approval for reconfigured deck, stoop, landing, and steps. Map 1, Lot 316, 317, and 319, 30th 12th Street, Wareham, Mass.
Thank you. I need a motion to open hearing for 30 12th Street.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstains. We are open. Anybody here representing this project? Anybody online?
No one's raised their hand.
I would take a motion to table this for later
Motion to table for later
in the meeting. Yeah. Okay,
Second.
thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. So we will give this a shot. Next one, please. And go this.
Okay. On the request for determination of applicability for the Wareham Land Trust, P.O. Box 718, Wareham, Mass. Oh, wait a minute. Am I at the right one? Nope, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Sobey.
Yes. Request for determination of applicability for Kristen Sobey, 6 Ripla Road, P.O. Box 1321, Onset, Mass. 02558, to replace existing wood stoop and stairs, wood shed attached to my cottage, and plastic storage bin with a wood deck. Location is about 88.5 feet from the resource area, Muddy Cove. Buildings surround around the outdoor shower. The cottage was built in 1925. The property owner has been given approval to proceed. See attached letter. All immediate abutters on the campgrounds have been notified. The interior and south side of the cottage is also being renovated and remodeled, but all of that is more than 100 foot from the resource area and not under the DEP or WCC's jurisdiction. Map 13, 1031, 6 Ripla Road, Wareham, Mass.
I like to have a motion to open the hearing on 6 Ripla Road.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. And anybody here representing this project, please come forward and identify yourself. And I went up there, and it was Nancy Miller's house. Now, Nancy Miller's, for some of you, was part of the team that put in CPC back in 2002, so I'm glad that Nancy's home is having someone care for it. That means a lot to me. I mean, I worked with Nancy for years in CPC, so thank you. Please
Madam
identify.
Chair, point of order, I don't think you took a vote to open the hearing. You,
I did a motion and a second. All in favor of opening the hearing? 6, thank you. Please keep me on my toes. I was so eager to talk about Nancy Miller that I missed my... Okay, please identify yourself.
My name is Kirsten Sobey. It's Kirstin. I don't know if you need to.
Yep, that's not what I have. I'm sorry.
And I'm the homeowner.
Thank you. Please talk to us about the project.
That was a long introduction to the project, but basically it's a 100-year-old cottage that needs a lot of work. And with your permission, I'd just like to change the stoop, the shed, and the storage bin to a deck.
All right. Then I'll go around. I'll start with Denise.
No questions.
Joe.
None for me.
Michael.
Just something minor. Any historic issues with the site, being that's built in 1925 or not?
No historical issues.
All right, just I checked. Thank you.
It's just
Have a good
falling apart.
night. Yeah, pretty much.
No questions either. Thank you.
Autumn.
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean.
No questions.
Jessica.
No questions.
Donna.
No questions.
Your comments, please, Josh.
for most of the site, it is fairly flat, but I would propose some erosion controls between the two existing dwellings. So, I think the commission has landed on hay bales or socks with a silt fence for your preferred erosion controls.
Hay bale and
Hay bale or socks
with
with a silt fence.
fence. So that's your option. We'll leave it,
Not hay bales, what was the other?
Oh, straw bales.
straw bales,
Seating.
Right.
straw bales.
Hay bales have the ability to have invasives in them.
Yes.
So straw bales.
straw bales and silk fence or wattles and silk fence. Did I hear that?
Correct.
Yes, okay. So, is there anybody here or online that would like to comment on this project? I'm seeing none. Josh, your comments, please. You just gave it.
Yeah, the recommendation would be a -3 with the addition of the erosion control.
I motion to close the hearing.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600. The hearing is closed.
I motion to approve with a -3 with the condition of an erosion control.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 600. You're done, you're approved. Don't start your work until you get your paperwork from Josh. Don't start the work until you get the paperwork from Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one, please.
This is a request for determination of applicability for the Wareham Land Trust. P.O. Box 718, Wareham, Mass. 02558. To resurface a parking area and path with 3/4-inch processed gravel to create an ADA accessible public path to a salt marsh viewing area with bench and split rail fence within the buffer zone to the salt marsh and within the buffer zone to the salt marsh and within a flood zone. The project will also include minor vista pruning and long-term invasive plant species management. Map 54, Lot 1009, 120 Cremisic Road, Wareham, Mass.
I'd like to have a motion to open the hearing on 120 Cremisic Road.
Motion to open the hearing?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, 600. Who's here to talk to us about this project? Please come forward and identify yourself.
Hi, for the record, my name is Elise Leduc Fleming. I'm the Executive Director of the Wareham Land Trust, and just for the record, I do believe this is a Notice of Intent application and not an RDA application, as was read.
That's correct. There's a error in the advertisement. It shouldn't affect the public hearing, though.
Okay, so it's a notice of intent?
Correct. Thank you for that correction, Elise.
Okay. Elise, talk to us.
Perfect. So as many of the commission members are likely aware, the Wareham Land Trust recently acquired this property on Cremisic Road. You will be the proud holders of our CR shortly, and hopefully. But one of the intentions of this purchase was to create a all-persons handicap accessible pathway out to what is a beautiful view of Marks Cove, thus the name Marks Cove Vista for this property. To do that, it does require a little bit of changes. So there's already a cleared area out by the road that we propose to convert into a small parking area, approximately 20 by 40 feet, that we're hoping to fit no more than 3 or 4 cars on, as well as changing the existing path that's already there. There'd be 0 clearing or tree cutting involved, to just grade it flat and add a couple inches of processed gravel and pack that down so that a wheelchair or other accessibility device could get folks out to the end of the path. The path itself is approximately 200 feet long. And at the end of the path, we're proposing a few sections of split rail fence just to indicate to the public, please don't continue walking into the salt marsh. It's really to people control, keep them on the upland area. There'd be a bench so people could sit and rest and really enjoy the vista. And as a vista project, while there is an open space there today, we are asking for permission, sort of as a continued condition, to do vista pruning in a certain area, so we don't have to continue to come back before the commission to maintain this view that we currently have. There are not many invasive upland plants on the property right now, but we're adding that in so that as we do find spot encroachers, we can pull them if they happen to be in the buffer zone without coming back to you, and we can get them before it really turns into a more established population where it would be much more difficult to control. I would point out there is a stand of Phragmites on this property. We are not proposing under this application to tackle that. That if we ever got the capacity to do that, we would come back before you with a second application. You may already be aware of this, but I did get a call from DEP earlier this week. They have not issued their file number for this yet because we missed one of the resource areas on our plan and in our narrative. I was not aware that the seaward end of Cedar Island Creek is much farther out in the cove than I would have imagined. So we are actually in the riverfront area. That's an oversight on my part. So I will be preparing a revised plan, revised narrative, as well as a brief and hopefully simple alternatives analysis as part of the requirements of that resource area. So I imagine we will be continuing tonight, but I did want to come before you just in case there were any other questions from the commission that I could answer for you tonight. And if there was any other additional information you needed from us that I couldn't provide for you, I would certainly be able to get that before we came back in a couple weeks.
Josh, is it possible we can approve this with the stipulation that you review the revised plan? They don't have to come back to us. Is that possible? Or would you prefer to see the revised plan?
The Mass DEP makes very strong advice that a commission does not approve a project that has not been issued a file number.
Got it. Okay. So, Donna, questions?
No questions.
Jessica?
No questions.
Paula Jean?
I probably don't need to ask, but what your removal of invasives involve hand pulling but not poison chemical.
Correct. So at this point, we are looking at, mechanical, hand tools or person power only, and I think that's the benefit of getting in as we see single individuals. We would never get to the point where we needed to do herbicide application.
Wonderful, thank you.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
Mike?
No questions here, thank you.
Joe?
None for me.
Denise?
I didn't get your last name.
Leduc Fleming, LEDUC Fleming with one M.
Thank you. I also wanted to find out, and I don't know if it's a question for her or you, that is there any area that needs to be marked with the signs that they're not supposed to enter that area that we have?
Elise, the Wareham Conservation Commission has resource area signs that are about 3.5 inches wide, so they'd probably fit nicely on the post and rail fence that you're putting up. It's the commission's discretion if they want them put up there. They're very...
We would be happy to have them because I was planning to put up something of a similar nature anyway. So if you have something already prepared that you would like to donate to the project, I'm happy to install them.
Josh, anything else? Denise, anything else?
That was it.
No, I will save my comments for the motion to approve.
So we're going to continue this, waiting for DEP file number?
Do we need a motion for that? Or do
Yeah, we need a
close
motion to continue,
this? Motion to continue before we close?
and we don't close. What's the next meeting, May 15th? Right, 15?
15th, yeah.
Yes.
Motion to continue until May 15th, 2024.
Second?
I have a motion, and I have a second to continue until 5:15. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, we are continued.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have, next one, please.
Is this one a notice of intent, or is this a request for determination of applicability?
This is also a notice of intent. Sorry.
Josh. This is on a notice for intent for Sherry and Renee Poyant, 16 Old Woods Road, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, to scrape, level, and fill 30 yards of loam, 80 yards, with 30 yards of fill and 80 yards of loam, hydro seed double eagle side yard, install a 3-foot-high, 39-foot-long, 6x6 wood landscape retaining wall, 41 feet from the pond. Replace existing retaining walls by the back window. One is 8 feet long and one is 11.5 feet long. Both are 1.5 feet high. Loam and hydroseed back of the house, pond side, and install a stone swale on property line at 30-foot no activity zone line. Map 129, lot 1038, 16 Old Woods Road, Wareham, Mass.
I take a motion to open the hearing on 16 Old Woods Road.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Is there anybody here representing this project? Please come forward and identify yourselves.
I hope I got your names somewhat right.
Close.
Rainy, just like the weather you don't want to have.
And Sherry Poyant.
All right. Please talk to us about your project.
So our side yard and pond side yard was grass for years and has slowly died. And so we'd like to level our side yard with the retaining wall holding it, and then do loom and seed the pond side to get that lawn back. And then the farthest side of our property next to our neighbor, he has a stone wall, and our land is all sand over there, so it keeps washing. So we want to put in the swale so that it doesn't keep washing down towards the pond.
I always just shovel the sand back up, rake it up to the, and it's really during the times that we have a lot of water, big rainstorms. So we talked to a contractor that we're going to get a bid for, that he suggested a swale with rocks, which makes sense, and that'll keep everything intact.
This is the neighbor of 18 Old Woods Road, or your other neighbor?
18.
Oh, thank you. The one up the hill.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
Denise?
The first thing was, when I was out, there were absolutely no stakes, so I wasn't exactly sure what I was looking at as to where you were putting these different things.
Okay.
On your plan, it marks a tree, but I couldn't figure out which tree you were talking about, because none of the trees were marked either. And I wanted to find out if there was going to be any tree removal.
No tree removal. So did you come through the garden to that side of the house?
I walked completely around it, and then I was out front again.
Okay.
Okay, so from the corner of the house to that tree that is marked on the map, so that's 39 feet there, so that's where the retaining wall would go.
And that's a little pine tree.
Well, it's the big oak, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's an oak that's kind of like leaning towards the water.
Okay, all
But
of this
then-
really should have been marked, so when I was out there, I knew what I was looking at. It would have
yeah.
been,
My apologies, we didn't realize that.
Yeah, sorry, we thought the map was self-explanatory, but we can,
also, I wanted to point out that we would like straw bales instead of the hay bales.
yes, I did notice that on that last one. Yep, no problem.
I would think that we would need to address the fertilizing of the grass at some point.
The order of conditions indicates a slow nitrogen reducing, slow reducing,
Slow releasing nitrogen.
Slow release.
thank you, slow release nitrogen fertilizer, and that's part of the order of conditions, but it doesn't hurt to enforce that, since all that will be running down into the pond. Anything
And
else?
that's why our lawn looks like it does, because we don't fertilize because of the pond. But our neighbors were telling us about that.
Yes.
So we'll make sure we do that.
Yes, we thank you for not having a fairway lawn. Anything else, Denise?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Joe?
There's none for me.
Mike?
Sandy pretty much already beat me to it with the stakes and the fertilizing of the wall, of the lawn rather, and stuff, so, no, none here, thank you.
Thank you.
Carol?
Nothing, thank you.
Autumn?
Yep, I was with Denise for the site visit, same comments. And any future projects that come, it is helpful for us if you put on the map where the 30-foot no activity zone is and where the 100-foot buffer zone is. Just for us, it makes our lives a little bit easier in reviewing your site plans. But
Appreciate that.
beautiful birds in your area. I was having a fun time watching those.
We're
kept
very,
pointing out all the
very
birds.
blessed.
Yeah, she was pointing out all the birds as we were walking around.
Paula Jean?
Nice spot you have.
Thank you.
I was thinking that I'm not an expert in variety of seeds for the hydro seeding, but I assume there's a type of seed that's gonna have much lower maintenance requirements than another, and that would be one way to make life a lot easier in the nitrogen and watering department.
We did mention that, and he did point out that Double Eagle, which,
Yeah,
Okay, is it Double Eagle? Is that the brand of seed?
it is.
Okay.
And our neighbor who just built a couple of years ago, he did their lawn, and he went through this process and said that Double Eagle by
That's
the
good.
pond is the best.
And then I did notice the firewood pile right down next to the water, well in the 30-foot zone. I don't know if that was yours or your neighbor's, because of the staking. There were just those two stakes there.
on
That's
the
all I
left-hand
saw.
side on the water
Yeah,
side.
going in, facing the
So-
water, yeah.
So that's our good wood for our wood stove in the house, and the one closest to our house is our pile, and the one behind it is our neighbor's
The
pile.
one next to the water is not yours?
Yes,
Close to
Half
the water.
is, half is ours, yes.
It's kind of like two piles.
Yeah, one was further back from the water, and one was very close, smaller pile. a
Oh, yeah.
Smaller pile.
That's going to
So
be
that-
gone.
Good, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, okay, disappear it, that's
All right,
wonderful.
thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We can-
Jessica,
No questions.
Donna.
No questions.
Thank you.
I had a concern while walking the property. If I am in the back of the house facing the pond, there is a corner of your house on the left side that has a major erosion happening because of the storm drains coming off the house. Is it possible you can try to put some type of dry well or something that prevents that sand from eroding into the pond?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and actually, I dug a 3x3 hole and put rocks there, but it comes not only from the downspout, but also the side of the house. So that's another area
That
where I
was
keep on raking back.
Yes.
So
But-
put something else there.
I can't put a condition on it because that's not what you're here for, but I would strongly recommend you find something to control the water coming down that hill and off the house.
Okay.
Josh, your comments, please.
I'll just mention that all the work is outside your 30-foot no activity zone, and after discussion with the applicants, it seems like a good project.
And your recommendation?
To issue your standard order of conditions. And,
So I can add a dry well, can't I?
Like a French drain or?
French dry well or something, it just, you know,
the dry well, because the water table is probably pretty high there, they're right on the pond. The dry well may
How
not
about
be
a-
adequate.
more stone?
Some type of level spreader, or some way to infiltrate the water, subgrade.
There's a small stone swale there, but it does have to be bigger.
We can do that.
So the comment, to control the runoff from the house and down the hill. And I also have to say, your neighbor, how long have you been in this house?
Well, we bought it in 1985.
So you know what was there before that new house was put in?
That was my parents' summer cottage.
I
That's
was
my
surprised.
sister's.
I was surprised it was still standing when they came to us to build that.
It was literally a chicken coop. So the house that we bought, was the farmhouse. My father found this place in the middle of the woods that was the chicken coop. And then the other house to the left, which is the new house now, was the pigsty. And
It was-
it was a little farm.
What an improvement to the neighborhood with
I
that.
get- yeah.
So I'm sorry, just
No,
a
it's true,
comment
though.
that it was very nice to see because I hadn't been there since they built it. Okay, Josh, anything else? Your comments?
So, I would recommend the approval of the project with the standard order of conditions. I will note, your standard condition number 15, only organic slow-release nitrogen fertilizer shall be used on the site by the manufacturer specifications, and that is a continuing condition. So that was the condition you were referencing
Yes,
before.
thank you.
Special conditions would be to control the erosion on, yeah, I don't want to say left side because that implies that
No,
you're looking at it from a...
east,
the
East,
The north,
That's the north
northeast,
side.
north,
East is the water coming, you
okay,
know,
so north,
north side.
north corner, north in front of the pond. Okay. Anybody online or in the audience like to comment on this project?
A motion to close the hearing?
Second?
I have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the hearing is closed. Someone want to take a crack at the,
Yep, I motion to approve with our standard order of conditions, with the condition of only organic slow-release nitrogen fertilizer to be used, use straw bales in lieu of hay bales, and to control erosion on the north side of the site.
thank you, that's the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. Is there anybody here for the Russell Moto hearing? You're
Good.
done. You're approved, and wait for your documents from Josh.
Thank you
We
very
have-
much, everybody. Appreciate it.
No one here for Russell J. Moto. So I'm going to ask that we untable it and then continue it.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstaining, 600. So, Josh, it's been untabled and then continued until May 15th. Can you reach out to them?
Yeah, I'll send Brad an email right now. I'm surprised he's not here.
Yeah, especially since they've got a certification of compliance coming up for the same address. Do you want me to continue with the motion to continue or wait a little longer?
If we can hold it off till the end of the meeting, I think that would be appropriate.
So, I don't think we finished untabling it, so it's still tabled, right? I don't think I finished, okay.
We untabled.
Yeah, we have,
We did vote to untable.
You voted on tabling it.
we did vote to untable?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take a motion to table.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll table to the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. We have continued public hearings. It is after 6:30, so we can go after them. We have Prime Engineering, 370 County Road, for the solar array. Is there anybody here for that?
So there was a Scribner error in the agenda. We've already continued that to May 15th.
So that's,
So that should say May 15th, not April 17th?
Correct.
Right.
I should have noticed that. Okay, next one is Sandy Beach Association Point Independence, 14 Cove Street. Somebody here for that project. Please come forward and identify yourself.
Gary Lerner, President of the Beach Association.
Good evening. Peggy Tingloff, Treasurer, Beach Association.
Peggy, I need your Lerner I think I can get, but Peggy, I didn't get your last name.
Tingloff, T-I-N-G-L-O-F, as in Frank.
Steve Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y.
All right, who's going to talk to us about this project?
We're here for renourishment of the beach. Over the years, the sand has just practically disappeared. It's down to practically nothing. And we want to put a 10-wheeler, come in with the sand and put about 3 inches of sand down from the high water mark up to the street.
And any idea how much sand you're talking about?
Just a 10-wheeler load.
Nothing more, so you're not looking at 10 cubic yards, 50 cubic yards? You don't have any?
I'm not, I don't know how much.
I think we put on the documentation 14,000 square feet.
I think a triaxle holds 12 yards of cubic sand.
I didn't print out my paper.
Is there anything else you want to do at the site other than replenish
No.
the beach?
No, nothing else.
So the request to Remove vegetation is no longer on the plate?
No.
Correct.
No.
Okay. All right. Questions? Donna, I'll start with you.
No questions.
Jessica?
No questions.
Paula Jean?
No, thank you, no questions.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
Michael?
No questions, thank you.
Joe?
None for me.
Denise?
Was this the site that we were going to talk about, the benches that are on?
Oh, yeah, that was on my plate for the benches that were installed without authorization. So I was going to bring that up, but if you'd like to.
There's 2 benches that were added, an additional, so you now have 3 benches on the beach. The 2 closest to the water, I don't believe you have permission for them to be down there. They're in the resource area.
They're on our property. We own that property.
You may own it, but it's in our jurisdiction of wetlands.
So you can't put anything into that area without permission from the Conservation Commission. So 2 of the benches are in violation.
So does that mean they have to take them out?
Yes, I would say that.
Well, we don't know.
You would have to vote on that.
Yes.
We would have to discuss it, and you'd have to put in as an
They've
after the
been there
fact.
They've been there for a long time.
No.
We haven't been down to see it in,
One has been there a long, long time. The other
One
two
up on the top and the other 2...
were fairly within the last 3 years.
Yes, yeah.
So, okay.
I don't know what the commission wants to do about it, but it needs an after-the-fact filing for it, or,
Yeah, 2 of them are on sonic, one of them's on a sonic tube, one is on a cement foundation, correct?
I believe so, yes.
yes.
Josh, any comments on this?
On the benches?
Yes?
You could vote to approve them after the fact tonight as a condition of your approval. Depending on how they were installed, I think the commission needs to consider, one, would there be any required maintenance for them moving forward? There are other benches around town that do not fare so well within similar conditions. So are they appropriately constructed with the right foundation?
They were put up, as far as I know, there's a company right across from the courthouse that put them in. So, when they were put in,
Someone must have given them approval to put it in.
I did. Because I thought because we own the land.
If I take a look at the 2 of them, I don't see erosion issues around them. One is on a concrete pad, and the other one is on 2 sonic tubes. I don't see an issue with erosion on it like there is the one on Swiss Beach. But here's the question. So if you, we'll talk about what the commission might like to do about these benches. I would not like to have to require them to be removed. I just wish we had been asked before they were installed. Yeah,
I'm sorry
I
about
know.
that. I didn't know that. I would have come, I figured it was our property, you know? I'm at fault at this.
Okay, how much, so we're looking about 12 cubic yards. How will you spread the sand?
We have to get a lot of people.
So no machinery?
No.
It'll be dumped and then spread out down to high water mark?
I water mark back up to the street.
And how many inches do you think you're going to apply with that?
I'm hoping to get 2 or 3 inches.
And you have to, there was a note about you've already found sand, right?
Silt testing.
The correct texture, you found that already?
Yes.
Yes,
That's all been done, and we
I did
already received the SE number.
okay. Josh, any comments, any other comments on this?
Nope.
Anybody,
They've acquired the sieve analysis, so that's all set. and their narrative says to a height of 2 inches.
Okay. Anybody would like to comment about the benches? I'm going around. Donna?
No, no
Jessica?
comments.
Paula Jean?
It's unfortunate, and I can feel your pain, but then we say the 30-foot no activity zone, and cement is poured, and there's a slab.
Are they being within 30 feet?
The one closest to the water is, they're all within a resource area. It's a coastal
Yes,
beach. So, if you're asking if they're within 30 feet of what? Because your 30-foot no activity zone says there should be no work within the 30-foot no activity zone, but it's identified from the buffer of a resource area. So technically, they're not in the 30-foot no activity zone. They're within a resource area.
Okay.
So, but the commission has the ability to approve projects within resource areas. Or deny projects within resource areas for that fact.
Yeah. Or retroactively deny it.
Oh, this is after the fact. There will be a fine. There will be a fine. Yes.
I mean, if you feel that the benches are a detriment to the resource area, you could have them move further away from the water. But
Can we weigh what the damage would be just to do the removal? Like,
it would be more damaging to remove and replace them than it would be to allow them to remain.
Anything else, Paula Jean?
No, I think we let common sense dictate.
Autumn?
What material are the benches?
They look like granite to me.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I have no further comments. Thank you.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
Mike?
I was just curious about the fines after the fact, but looks like we're going to discuss that in a few minutes, so.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Joe?
Was this the project a while back was on the agenda? Something about that beach grass over there, or am I just...
It started out with beach grass, but they have changed their request to just go for replenishment of the sand, and they're not going to do any removal of the vegetation, because there were some comments regarding that would have been very difficult to have approved.
Yeah. All right. It just crossed my mind, but no further questions.
Denise?
I just don't know if they had come before us to put these benches in, if they would have been approved or not.
They would have been probably approved closer to the road.
That's right, yeah. I don't feel comfortable with it, but, I mean, it's up to the board.
But as Josh indicated, it would probably do more damage to move them back further.
Pull them out.
And they don't see, if by looking around them, I don't see any indication that they are digging into the sand and causing erosion issues around it, so, but, now, for a fine for doing work that, I'm going to be honest, would not have been permitted,
Correct.
because the location is too close to the resource area, it's a $300 fine for work done
Right.
without being approved.
And I think that they should have to file an after-the-fact filing for this also.
Josh?
It's work that was done.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. What would you like to see in terms of a filing?
I don't know how you do an after-the-fact filing. I know there's an after-the-fact filing, I mean...
Right, normally what you would do is you would double your filing fee.
Correct, but what would it come under, an NOI or an RDA, or what are we talking about?
They're already here under a notice of intent.
Right.
It seems like you're already willing to approve them under the notice of intent. So you could just simply double the local filing fee now and kind of, if you require them to file a notice of intent, it's gonna be for benches.
Right.
Mass DEP is probably gonna have comments for it, and they're gonna have to issue another DEP file number. It
And
seems
a notice
like
of...
a lot of work for you to get to the same outcome
Same
that you're
outcome.
already at.
So as long as we double the fee, because it's something that would not have been approved, and it's an after-the-fact filing, and they are fined on top of that, I feel more comfortable with it, being that it would cause more damage to have them removed than to just leave them there.
Okay. Double the fee.
Yeah, fee for filing, because you're including it after the fact.
Yep.
In the NOI.
Right, and that would be doubling our local fee. You can't double the state fee.
Nope.
Just for the record, I
Right,
wanted to make that
right.
known.
So double local filing fee. And what is that?
I think it was $100.
So it would be 200? And it would be a $300 fine, because we would not have permitted it. Do we want to do a fine per bench, or just call it, the two of them together as a $300? I think just 300, I'm not going to, we're doubling the
Right.
filing fee, so a $300 fine from work that would not have been approved. So we've talked about doubling the filing fee, $300 fine for work not approved. I believe I'm hearing that we will allow the sand to be restored, no mechanical devices on the beach. Does anybody else would like to comment on this project?
Just to be clear, none of the sand that's coming in will be covering or on top of any of the grass that's already there, right? It won't go near it.
Won't even be near the
Correct,
grass.
good, that's right. Thank you.
Okay,
A motion to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the hearing and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. We have 600 to close the hearing. Someone would like to take a stab at the order of conditions?
Josh, could you
Can't do
please
it,
give
so
your
you guys have to
recommendation?
do it.
Denise can't.
I can't do it, so you guys have to do it.
The recommendation is to issue your standard order of conditions, to limit the amount of sand to 1 triaxle, which I believe is roughly 12 cubic yards. You're going to issue a fine of $300 for work that would not have been approved by the commission, and you're going to issue a fine for $100 for an after-the-fact filing of a notice of intent for unpermitted work.
Okay.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. We're 600.
What is the fine total?
Total of $400 fines between the two components.
Okay.
And see Josh for your paperwork, and you're set to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, total $5.
Okey dokey.
I'm never rereading this.
David Darling, Water Whiz.
They requested a continuance to June 3rd.
I have a request for continuance until 6/3.
Second? So moved?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed to abstain, 600. Water, David Darling, continued until 6/3. The next one is Jason Nelson, 8 over Jordan Road.
Madam Chair, before we move on, I'm looking at the date of 6/3, and it looks like it's a Monday.
So that'd be 6/5
let me-
then.
Yeah, let me
Oh,
confirm what they actually requested. I'm pretty sure it was 6/3, but if that is what they requested, I will recommend you continue to 6/5, and I will reach out to them.
All right, have a motion to rescind our approval of a continuance until 6/3.
So moved?
second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed to, okay, so 6/3 is off the table. What's the date, 6/5?
Correct.
Yes.
So,
Motion to continue till David Darling until 6/5.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, therefore, well, 3 and 5 look like each other.
2 days off.
I think they looked at July,
Oh,
because July 3rd is hearing.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe where the confusion was.
okay,
So they said June 3rd in the email.
well, if
I will
it's,
reach out and find out if they meant July 3rd or June, our first meeting.
well, they're continued until the 5th. If it's not good enough for them, they can come back and ask for a continuance until a July date.
Correct.
Okay, we are here for 8 over Jordan. Someplace in here is the paperwork. And who is here to identify, to work on this project? Please identify yourself.
Lori McDonald with Cape and Islands Engineering, representing the applicant.
Okay, thank you. And I believe you were here, we asked for a continuance to see something to do with a lawn.
Yes, so there was a request made at the previous hearing for us to identify the landscape lawn area for this particular project. So we have submitted a revised plan showing a revised footprint. This green area is the landscape area that is proposed on the property with a revised hay bale silt fence line around the landscape footprint. And the landscape footprint would include no more than 30% of the area maintained as a lawn.
You mean straw bales?
Oh, straw bales, I'm sorry, yes, correct.
I'm so used to hay bales, I have to,
Absolutely. And beyond the landscape area, the area would be mowed on the property, and any vegetation would be maintained by trimming, selective trimming or cutting of trees if they become.
if they appear.
Correct, yes. So that is another part of the landscaping and management of the property that is being proposed. We've also added a drip line. Originally, we had wells, dry wells, and we've added a roof drip line along the edge of the property. So you can see this kind of gravel hatching in through here and right over in through here are roof drip lines. And then this gravel walkway will serve as the infiltration area for roof runoff.
Thank you. Questions? Donna?
No questions.
Jessica?
No questions.
Paula
No
Jean?
questions. Thank you.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
Mike?
On that, on your chart right there, or graph or whatever, we said where the trees would grow or whatever, that little green spot on the far left, is that proposed,
So
is
this is
that proposed solar panels?
No, septic, that's a septic.
Septic?
Yes.
Okay, because I know there were solar panels proposed there in the past that have just never been put there.
Yeah,
but that
previous
was-
owner, yep.
That was
Yep.
way in the past, but, so the septic we put way out there,
Yeah, the reason being is this is the velocity zone
all right?
from this point towards the road, and then in the back, it's just a flood zone. So we installed the leaching field in just the flood zone, not the velocity zone. That way, it's, less subject to flooding.
Okay,
The
thank
whole
you.
site is in land subject to coastal storm flowage, so.
Anything else? Joe?
I'm good, thank you.
No, there's none for me.
Denise?
No questions.
Question, how high does this house have to be?
So it is, I believe, 2 feet above the flood velocity zone, which is elevation 17.
17?
It'll be 19 feet, the bottom of the house.
It was too tiny for me to read on the plan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is there anybody here who would like to comment on this project? Josh, your comments?
So they were previously before you, and I believe they've addressed all of the concerns that you raised at your previous meeting. So the approval of the project with your standard order of conditions.
Can
With
I
this-
make a correction first? I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
actually 21 feet. I'm sorry, the elevation of the bottom of the house is 21 feet.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Those are a lot of steps. Just to reiterate what you heard about our nitrogen on that grass area, it's in part of our conditions, so there will have to be no question that this does not become a fairway lawn. Okay, I asked if there was anybody here for comments. None? Anybody online?
Motion to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, the hearing is closed.
All right, I motion to approve with the standard order of conditions and just highlighting that only organic slow-release nitrogen fertilizer be used.
Thank you. That's the motion.
Second.
I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600, we're done. Next one, please. We're at 10 Over Jordan Road.
Yes.
Shall we say ditto? I don't think, well, I'm sorry, to the note taker, you can't. Okay. Please identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Lori McDonald with Cape and Islands Engineering, representing the applicant for this project. And this is also similar to the last project where the commission had asked us on the previous hearing to define the limits of the landscape area and the limits of lawn. So again, the footprint of the work area has been defined here in green, and we have adjusted the straw bales, and we are calling for maintain plantings with no more than 30% of this green area being lawn. And then beyond this area, we have requested, or we are calling for mowing, selective brush cutting, and tree trimming outside the landscape footprint in perpetuity. And again, we are also showing this roof line drip strip to catch any storm water that sheds off of the roof. So it's going to be constructed out of clean washed stone, and it's going to be along this side of the house as well as you can see along this side of the house. And this is the same situation where the low chord elevation of the house will be set at 21 feet, whereas the flood velocity zone is 17 feet.
Okay, questions? Denise?
Questions?
Joe?
None for me.
Michael?
None here, thank you.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean?
No questions, thank you.
Jessica? Donna?
No questions.
Thank you. Anybody online or in the audience to comment on this project? I see none.
A motion to close the hearing?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Josh, I forgot to ask you your comments. Sorry.
I recommend the approval of the project with your standard order of conditions.
I have
Sorry.
motion to approve with the standard order conditions?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? It's done. You're approved. Okay,
That will be my recommendation for the next two as well.
all right. Thank you. That saves me from forgetting. Next one, please. I believe this is now 4 Over Jordan Road, please.
So again, my
Okay,
name
no,
is,
Rick, please identify yourself.
Rick England.
Trevor England.
and Lori McDonald with Cape and Islands Engineering,
Thank you.
representing the applicant.
Cape and Islands, okay. Who wants to talk to me about this, talk to us about this project?
So this is also similar to the last two projects where the commission asked for the applicant to show the location of the landscape footprint. And We have shown it here, highlighted in green. The erosion controls or sedimentation controls, which will be straw bales, have been adjusted to show the landscape footprint. And the landscape footprint will include maintained plantings and not more than 30% of the area as maintained lawn. We've also shown the roof line drip strip, which is constructed out of clean wash stone, and it's along the bottom of the foundation, or underneath the roof line, along the west side and along the east side of the home. And the drip line will run underneath the deck, just so you are aware. So anything that's that's dripping through the boards of the deck will also be caught by that drip line.
Thank you. Anything to add? Okay. Donna, questions?
I have no questions.
Jessica?
No questions.
Paula Jean?
I had one thought, when we discussed this before, I was just, wasn't sure, I remembered you did agree to have a pervious paved driveway, or was it going to be a gravel driveway?
No asphalt, yeah, gravel.
Gravel, okay,
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Autumn?
No questions, thank you.
Carol?
Is the elevation on this one 21 feet as well?
Correct, yeah, they're all 21 feet.
Okay. No questions, thank you.
Michael?
None here, thank you.
Joe?
None for me.
Denise?
No questions.
Yeah, you're required to be a certain number of feet above the floods. Yeah.
Is the septic system in the flood zone or the velocity zone?
In this particular case, the septic system is in just the A zone, looks like.
Okay. Josh, are you going to say your comments are ditto?
My comments would be to issue your approve the project with the standard order of conditions.
Is there anybody online or in the audience who would comment on this project? I'm seeing none.
Motion to close the hearing?
Yes.
Before you close, I just need to correct myself because I'm on record. It's in the velocity zone. The entire site,
Okay.
sorry, is in the VE zone, elevation
And
17.
The septic system could not be moved could not be moved out of the VE zone?
No, the entire site's in the VE zone.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Close the hearing already?
Are they there?
We didn't vote on it.
Hi, can you hear me?
Did I close the hearing?
We didn't vote on it, no.
We didn't vote on it. Okay. So can someone undo the second, and can someone undo the motion? Just say yay.
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 So I have no motion and I have no second on the table. All right.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, and please identify yourself.
Mark Dibb with Cape and Islands Engineering. I do believe Lori answered the question right, and you are also correct. It is allowed to put the system in the velocity zone, and for the other sites, we tried to move them out, but this site does not have any room to make that improvement, so it meets all other requirements. And I just wanted to clarify one other quick thing. Yes, the finished floor is elevation 21. The lowest horizontal member of these houses, because they're up in the air, needs to be 2 feet above the velocity zone. So, you know, it's usually takes a foot or two to get the beams and the floors and everything else. So it is correct that the house is at elevation 21, you know, the first floor is at 21, and the horizontal beams are greater than 2 feet above 17. So those two items apply to all these projects. But otherwise, if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. The applicant is on Zoom. I must now make a roll call vote. Someone? No other comments? If not,
A motion to close the hearing.
I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Second. I'll do a roll call vote. Jessica?
Aye.
Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Thank you. That means our hearing is closed. Now we need,
Ditto?
no, standard. Nice try.
I motion to accept with the standard order of conditions.
That's the motion.
Second.
Second, I'm going to roll call. Jessica?
Aye.
Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
It's been approved. You have it. Don't do any work until you get your paperwork from Josh, but that's done. All right, next one is 172 Great Neck Road, and I see you moved the septic system.
Out of the water.
I was going to say, got awful wet there. Okay, and who's here representing this project, please?
Lori McDonald with Cape and Islands Engineering, and Mark is online as well. Mark,
Yes, still here. Thank you.
did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes.
I need these two to say who they are, please. Then Mark can,
Rick England.
Trevor England.
thank you. Mark?
And Mark Dibb with Cape and Islands Engineering.
Mark, did you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, sure. Again, it's the same scenario. We provided the landscape areas, the drip strips. We did slide the entire house, septic, everything a little bit to the
North.
north,
Northwest.
to the left on the plan, just to the highest elevation possible on the property. So that was a minor adjustment, but otherwise, all the other components of the project are the same. Thank you.
The land is 30, the greened 30% of the,
Yes, so the same landscape notes apply to this property as well. The sedimentation erosion controls have been adjusted to enclose the proposed landscape area, and the landscape area will be maintained plantings with no more than 30% of the area kept as a maintained lawn. Existing trees and shrubs will be retained where possible, and there will be some mowing, selective brush cutting, and tree trimming allowed outside the landscape footprint in perpetuity. We've also called for the roof line drip stripped, which is shown in the plan as this gravel line along the house outline on both the north and the south side of the house. And there's the gravel patio, which will also accept roof runoff and serve as a drip line as well.
okay, questions, Denise?
Getting a hand cramp from these guys.
I know.
No questions.
Joe?
None for me.
Michael?
Just a quick question, because this house was like moved back north, whatever, because it's still, I guess, wet over there. How high is the house built? Can you just remind me again?
So the bottom foundation of the house is elevation 21, I believe, yes. So the bottom elements, as mentioned by Mark, would have to be 2 feet at least above the flood elevation, which is 17 feet in this particular case. Yes, 17 feet. So the low beam would have to be at least 19 feet.
All right, okay, thank you.
Okay, Carol?
No questions, thank you.
Autumn?
Where the house was shifted a little bit, I noticed that you're losing some of the driveway. Are you gonna maintain gravel underneath the house, or will that stop at the edge of the house?
So we've left it open to the applicant as far as whether they want that to be cement underneath the house or gravel. It is all underneath the house, so it's really not gonna restrict any overland flow or of any of that particular type of infiltration.
It's not as if it's
I
going to
should
get
say.
rained, it's not going to
Right,
get rained on, yeah.
It's not gonna affect the infiltration issue on site, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paula Jean?
No questions, thank you.
Jessica?
No questions.
Donna?
No questions.
I'm very glad to see you try to move it out of your little pond. Every time I drove down there, there's more water. Oh, some truck got stuck. Oh, it's more water. So, I think that was it. Anybody else? I know. I will stop it. Josh, same comments? Standard order of conditions. Anybody else online? I know we heard from Mark. So, I think
A motion to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
And a second. Jessica? Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Aye. The hearing is closed.
I motion to approve with the standard order of conditions?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Jessica?
Aye.
Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Thank you. Again, you're approved. Please see Josh before you start anything.
Madam Chair, just so you're aware, Brad has entered the meeting, if you want to take him after your next continued.
I was going to see if somebody here. Okay, the next hearing is Continental Marine. Are anybody here for that? Oh.
Sorry to disappoint you, Brian Grady, GAF Engineering. Mr. Madden couldn't make it this evening.
That's okay.
Thank
We're
you.
happy to see you.
All right. Talk to us. What did they decide to do with the fill?
Well, dredging is not part of the plan.
Okay.
I know that was discussed at the last meeting. Forget the other comments, I believe there's a DMF letter. We have no objections with any of the comments. They can be addressed in the order of conditions. And so since there's no dredge, I know there was some discussion about was that going to be used behind the wall. So it'll be imported sand, clean sand from off-site to be used as backfill behind the sheet vinyl wall. And that's my memory, I believe, of the outstanding issues.
By doing that, we don't need a shellfish study.
Correct.
Okay. Donna, anything?
No questions.
Jessica?
No questions.
Paula Jean?
I think we covered everything last time. No
Bottom.
further.
No questions, thank you.
Carol?
No questions.
Michael?
I just was already just last time.
Joe?
None for me.
Denise?
None this week.
And so, Josh, I believe our standard order of conditions, and we will reference the April 17th, 24 Division of Marine Fisheries letter as part of our conditions.
That sounds correct. I just want to look back at my last notes to make
Okay.
sure there wasn't anything else. That sounds correct, though.
So by referring to that letter, we don't have to talk about the time frame for everything for the flounder and the horseshoe crab, because it's all documented there. So we don't have to repeat it.
I don't have any additional notes.
Okay. Anybody online or in the audience would like to speak to this project? I'm seeing none.
I motion to close the hearing?
Second.
Motion to close the hearing and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 600.
I motion to approve with the standard order of conditions with any other additional conditions set in the DMF letter dated April 17th, 2024.
Second. That's the motion, and it's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. It's approved, we're done. I believe we have an item that's been tabled.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I motion to untable.
Well, is there anybody here for it? Anybody online? Okay,
You'll have to
I have a motion to untable Moto.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? There's somebody online. Sorry, Jessica, Paula Jean, we're on tabling. Paula Jean,
They're online, so I gotta go.
Oh,
I have-
right,
Person,
right.
person.
Aye.
to untable.
Yes.
Yes. Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Yeah.
Sandy? Yes. Mike? Yes,
Aye.
we're untabled. So I would like to have a motion to open the hearing for 30 12th Street.
So moved?
Second?
Second. Jessica? Aye. Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Carol? Mike?
You got it.
Okay, we're untabled, and we've opened the hearing. And who is online to talk to us about this project?
Good evening, Brad Bertolo, JC Engineering. Do you hear me?
Yep. All right, Brad, talk to us about this after the fact.
Is Josh going to post the plan, or can I have ability to share my screen potentially?
Yep, John's gonna give you the ability to share your screen, Brad.
It'd be the one that says desktop.
I have to admit, I remember what that site looked like before this. There was this cement cellar with a lot of weeds and grown trees and pretty dilapidated. I was very pleased to see how that site had been changed into something that looked decent, as opposed to what it had looked like.
Correct, yes. It was a pretty overgrown property. Originally was developed, there was a foundation up at the front portion of the property. Back in 2016, the property owner at the town obtained a permit to construct a single-family house. At the time, the previous owner sold it to my current client, who requested a certificate of compliance. At the review of the property, it was determined that there are a couple changes to the site plan we felt would be needed to be approved under a separate permit before a COC could potentially be issued. So we have two hearings tonight, one in RDA for after the fact construction and eventually a request for a certificate of compliance. The highlighted gray areas are what was approved in 2016, and the permit was extended a couple times. It eventually expired, I believe, earlier this year. The driveway itself was to be constructed up to the front of the dwelling. This property's in a flood zone, so it was going to be elevated one story up to the first floor to allow for a lower level garage/storage area. That structure itself was approved to be 24 by 34, which is shown in the gray, with a 2-foot overhang on the front, as well as a side deck. Let me try to zoom in a little closer to the plan here. So originally, the deck's right there and the stairway's right here. This line right here represents the 30-foot no-touch that was applicable to the original order of conditions. The original property owner sold it to my current client, who decided to build a 26 by 26 structure, similar to the one that was discussed about a couple months ago on 30 East Central. Very similar situation as that property, where a side stoop was added on the house. This is a very similar situation. The deck that was constructed was approved to be 10 by 12, shown on the building permit plans, which is shown in this black outline. And then the house itself is in the same spot that was originally approved. One other change was the front entrance stoop was anticipated to be walking in ground level. but what was constructed was a front door exiting the main level, which was 1 story up. And in that situation, he constructed a front stoop, stairway down to a landing, and then stairway down to grade. So this work was not shown on the original plan, but comparing setbacks between originally approved structures, which in this case here was 32.5 feet to the deck, 32.5 feet to the house. The new structure that was built, very similar situation, 32.5 feet to the front stoop. The main foundation of the house, the impervious footprint of the house, is at 37.1 versus the original 32.5 feet. So slightly further separation from the 30-foot no-touch buffer. And then this elevated platform or stoop off of the side of the deck. So there's a 10 by 12 deck that was originally shown on the building permit plans, just slid down to, I believe, access the door more appropriately on the side of the house. And then the stairway coming down, because this deck is 1 story up, required a full set of stairs, as was originally approved, down to grade. And that setback is very similar to what was originally approved. As required, split rail fence was constructed along the 30-foot no-touch. But the request for the RDA would be for this change of the reconfigured side deck, as well as the new front stoop elevated. As you can see, the majority of the stairs and stoop are all over the footprint of the originally approved garage. So no closer to the resource areas than what was originally approved. And as you can also see, the driveway is considerably smaller. All this area is just loam and seed at this time. And it's a crushed stone driveway, except for the very front apron, which is paved. But that is outside of the 100-foot wetland. It is within land subject to coastal storm flowage, but very minimal grade changes took place on this property. I think that covers pretty much everything to do regarding the RDA. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
All right, I'll start with questions. Denise?
The first thing I would like to see are the signs added to the posts about the wetlands. Can we provide those and have it done so that nothing happens in the resource area? Can you explain to me, is the person who's putting in for this, do they actually own the house now? Or is the sale of the house contingent on the certificate of compliance? And the reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to determine what should happen with fines and after-the-fact filings.
Yeah, so a little different situation than the prior one, which ended up selling twice without final sign-off. This was constructed by the current property owner. The property is for sale, but again, probably pending the issuance of a certificate of compliance.
All right, so the gentleman who did the work or had the work done is the person who presently owns the home.
Owns and lives there, yes.
Okay, so then the fines and the application filings apply to the person who did this. So then I would recommend that a fine and a doubling of the filing fees for the RDA come into effect, along with the signs then be posted on the fence rail.
And the fine for 200 says we would have permitted it.
Correct.
As opposed to 300, so it's...
And the doubling of the filing fees.
Yep, so it's a $100 filing fee and $200 for a fine for doing the work. Anything else? And signs.
Posting of the signs.
Joe?
Thank you, Brad.
There was none for me.
Michael?
I was down there earlier today, and I'll tell you, those deckings and house looks awfully close to the wetlands, but it is out of the 30-foot wetlands, that 30-foot no activity zone, I mean. It is.
The fence is the line.
It's time, all right, so if it's out of the 30-foot no NA, then, all right then, nothing here then.
Carol?
No questions.
Autumn?
No questions, great area for bird watching.
Paula Jean?
I had the same concerns as Mike, because I could see the Phragmites growing up on the inboard side of the
Oh,
fence.
yes.
And the old silt fencing is still all in there, grown in, and looking across there, you can see it's wet, like, right up to the fence, so I don't know. It's not even 30 inches in my book, never mind 30 feet, but that's how it looked.
Phragmites like to grow everywhere, yes.
Well, yeah, but, and I guess a couple of years have transpired, global warming is real, and the tide's getting higher.
Here, Jessica?
No questions.
Donna?
No questions.
Josh, your comments, please, and recommendation.
My comments would be, after hearing the board's recommendations, to issue an RDA or a DOA with a -3 determination to add conservation signs to the post and rail fence along the 30-foot no activity zone. And I would say even further, that should be done before the issuance of the certificate of compliance. And when I say that, I mean the actual receipt of it. I will go out and ensure that they're up before, I give him the approved paperwork. I'm not saying that you don't vote on that tonight. And after the fact filing fee, which is double your filing fee of $75, and then the $200 fine for work that would have been approved, but was done without a permit.
Okay, any other comments? Anybody online?
I have
Other
one
than
question.
Brad?
How many signs would you like to specify? So, there's like a bunch of posts, but typically there's a certain spacing you like.
Probably, I think, when I was looking at the property, I think 3 would suffice. Like every other pole along the property. I think it was 3 that I was looking at.
I agree with Denise.
There's definitely more than 6 posts, so every other doesn't make sense, but maybe you bring, each side, you bring it in one post and then one directly
Right.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think.
So one from each property line, one in from each property line, and one by the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, I think that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that type of thing, so, yeah.
Three total.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right,
Motion to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second?
All in favor? Sorry, roll call. Jessica?
Aye.
Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Michael?
Aye.
The hearing is closed.
I motion to approve with a -3 determination, with the condition that resource area signs are placed, 3 of those signs total, and we will also be issuing a fine for $200 for work that would have been permitted, and we will be doubling the filing fee of $75 for the after-the-fact filing.
And that the signs be placed before the certification of compliance is issued.
Yeah, you can address it now or.
I'll do that later on, okay. So that's the motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, I'm going to roll call. Jessica?
Aye.
Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
We're done. And while you're there, why don't we go on, if someone doesn't mind, we can go on to the certification of compliance?
It's next on the agenda anyway.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. This is yours.
So
You-
after
you-
the, I'll.
Do you
go
want me
ahead.
to describe it, or do you want to go through it yourself?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward, Brad, thank you. After the approval of your determination of applicability, the issuance of a certificate of compliance is recommended.
Okay.
After the signs are placed.
No, well,
Yeah,
all the fees were done in the RDA.
right.
Oh, with the placing of the signs prior to the receiving.
Okay,
the
now
signs.
here we say that's, okay,
How do you do
the
that?
signs be placed
Approval of the certificate of compliance,
pending,
pending, confirmation that the signs are placed.
okay. So that be it. I need a so
We have-
so
So moved.
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
Sorry, and I have a motion in a second. Jessica? Aye. Paula Jean?
Aye.
Autumn?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
600, approved. Okay, we have review of enforcements. Nothing's happening with these. We're waiting for formal filings to discuss them.
That is correct.
All right. Anything else on this? Anything, Josh, you would like to add?
Sure, so I recently updated, I recently updated the instructions for the request for a determination of applicability. And there, previously, the commission had said that the property should be staked 5 days prior to the hearing. I took out the requirement for 5 days prior, and now it just says the commission will make a site visit prior to the hearing. Stakes must mark all proposed building corners, septic, leaching field corners, walls, and fences along their entire length. So you can feel more comfortable about
Continuing a hearing if it's not been done.
Not done.
Okay.
It's very clearly stated in your instructions.
Thank you.
And
We have no minutes. You're going to see a major change in the minutes. We're no longer transcribing the hearing. It will be a best process to summarize the hearings. We will no longer be taking dictation off of the videos. And so we will see a major change in no more 11 nine-page set of minutes, which was awful hard to get through. So these are all being redone to accommodate the change in the making summaries as opposed to a dictated minutes. Anything else?
Why is that being done? I'm just,
Mass open meeting law. It says we have to have a reasonable summary of the hearing.
because I know we had issues with our minutes before, and that's why we went to the minutes that we.
And it has been reviewed and has been strongly recommended that we modify our format of our minutes into a reasonable summary of our hearing, as opposed to 11 pages where we might miss a word if someone uses those minutes to take us to court. And if they want a true representation of the meeting, they can go to WCTV and get their own transcript, as opposed to us trying to do it in a set of minutes and miss something or what's like that. So it is expected to be a reasonable summary of our hearings.
Then this covers us for the open meeting law then?
Yes, yes.
Just wanna be really clear on
strong.
that.
Oh, yes. And honestly, it is happening it is happening in sewer, it is happening in planning, and in zoning. It isn't just us.
Yeah, that
It is strongly being reviewed for all of our permitting committees, commissions.
Where can the public get the video recordings on the meetings?
The WCTV webpage, WCTV
YouTube channel,
YouTube.
and on your website.
Which is where you would go, like if you missed a meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, John?
So if you're looking for, sorry, that kills me hearing myself and speaking into the microphone at the same time. So if you're looking for the videos, you can either go to our webpage. This is Wareham Media, www.warahammedia.com, or you can go to our YouTube page, which is Wareham TV.
Just want to note it.
And
Yeah,
that's for us too.
Just for anybody.
And that's for us too, if we want to look at something.
Yep. Thank you.
And
Because-
on the website, you can find the archive stuff.
Yeah, I know that.
Archive stuff. where on YouTube, I have not been able to find stuff directly from the archive.
It does go by
with
date.
with the YouTube, we make individual playlists for the year. So they are in there.
Okay,
But they're just
maybe through a
not all
computer.
together.
Yeah, I can't get it on my TV.
Gotcha.
But I can probably get it on my computer that way. Thank you.
Josh, is there anything else? I think we've covered everything on the agenda. Anybody, any comments or anything?
We're not doing any of the enforcement orders at all?
There's nothing here.
Okay.
What we're doing is we're keeping track of the enforcement orders, and they get removed when they come before us with a formal filing. Correct?
You guys have already voted to issue enforcement.
I believe we have,
properties.
yes.
And your next agenda, there will be additional enforcements to be discussed.
Okay. The 2530 Cranberry Highway, did you do an enforcement order, or we're just going to discuss that piling of the sand behind those houses?
So we talked about that one. They have an open order of conditions.
Okay.
So you don't need to necessarily,
We're not, there's nothing to vote on it. It is not an enforcement order. It's just we're going to look at it to
right.
see how well they're doing against their current order of conditions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wasn't here when you originally, this started off as an enforcement order.
Yes.
And then you had them come back for a notice of intent. There was revegetation of the bank, and I believe there was grading of the site involved. So it's reasonable to believe that they are in the process of grading the site and getting ready to revegetate that bank.
Okay. But we'll have more enforcement orders at the next meeting that we will ratify. Isn't it a shame
There's
that they
plenty
keep
of
coming,
enforcement.
that they keep
Yes.
coming? And I do thank the public that drops the dime and let Josh know that we've got violations of filling wetlands and bulldozers and all those other things that are happening and trees coming down. And please, to the public, continue keeping your eyes open and let us know when our wetlands are being violated.
And for the record, if there is some type of enforcement that needs to be done, that's normally, I go out and address it and, issue a cease work. So because you haven't voted on anything, doesn't mean it's continuing. I usually address it in some form before it comes to you guys.
Once he knows, he goes out, he makes his visit. Anything else?
Motion to close the hearing? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, and it's
Second.
7:46. I have a motion to adjourn at 7:46. I have a second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you very much. Thank you, Wareham, and thank you, everybody, for coming